Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, Kicking It with Kendall. Today, I'm going to be cutting up some wood. There's another pile over here behind the camera as well. We'll be moving over there. But I'm going to be cutting up some wood, some old wood. This is apple wood. It's another day now, however. I'm down here in this orchard. There's some dead wood that has fallen here or been cut, or I'm not sure how it got here, but we have some older wood here that I want to put in the bottom of those garden boxes. Now, I'm no expert at it. However, I've been watching a lot of other YouTube videos on how to set up your garden box, and a lot of them point to getting something like this older kind of wood to put in the bottom of the garden boxes, and then filling it in with things like pine needles or, smaller twigs and different things like that. And then the topsoil, and then your garden. So we're gonna be over here today cutting up some of this wood, throwing it in the trailer, and just collecting some so we can get putting those garden boxes and installing those. Okay, I have this Ego brand chainsaw. I've had it for several years. I don't know if it has the same power as my gas one that I had, but seems to do the job for 99% of the stuff that I do, maybe even 100. It seems to do everything just great. My batteries are starting to get old, and so this one's a borrowed battery. My batteries are getting old. That's my biggest frustration with any electric equipment, is the batteries are so expensive. I'm sure you've all seen that when it comes to like a drill or something like that. But as far as when you have a good battery, electric rocks. It is just awesome. So we'll start cutting this up and put it in the trailer, and then we'll move over to that other pile. That's some pretty rotten wood. Right sizes, so that will work well. But for now, ever differently. Woo! Got a lot of gnarly little branches coming out of that one. Look how good that little saw does. Okay, I'll get this loaded up so I can get it up to the house, and I'll catch back up with you when I'm unloading it and getting it ready to put into the garden boxes. And then we'll start lining it with this wood. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me on this portion of it, and we'll catch back up with you on the rest. All right, everybody, it's another day, and we are still working on the garden boxes. I'm at the next step, ready to start putting stuff inside of it. I've got them all leveled out, this direction, that direction, all three of these. So we should be good. Just putting the cardboard. We're going to start with cardboard in the bottom. We'll layer it out in the bottom. And then after that, I've got a pile of sticks over here that you saw me gather the other day, and we'll start putting those in here. And then after we get that in, the sticks and the logs, then after that I've got a couple bags of pine needles over here behind me. We'll put those all in there, And then I think we'll be ready for some dirt and some topsoil. So let's get to it. Here's all the cardboard that I have. We'll start lining it. Then you can see over there in the distance the twigs and logs and things that will go in next. So I'll start getting this and we'll put it in. Anything out, it's okay, here's the pile of logs we'll be using. So we'll line the bottom with these. This could take a minute. Okay, so here's where we're at. I've got it filled with some wood and logs and little chunks. There could be a lot more in there. I just don't have any more. If I can find a few more logs, I'll throw it in there before I put the dirt on, but this is where it's at and how it's going to be for now. I would like to find a few more. This is probably the best one right here, but that just helps save a little bit on topsoil. Put it in there and it gives it some things to break down and take up a little space. But this one needs a little bit more. This one needs a little bit more, some logs, but I'll gather some of those up, put it in there, and we'll be good to go. You can see my pile is mostly gone right there, and I still have one more garden box right there that I have to set up, so I'm going to save that for that garden box. And for these right here, I need to get the skid steer, and I've got some dirt out front. We'll scoop it up. I'll bring it back here and start to fill these full of dirt. And as I'm filling them with dirt, right over here, I've got a bunch of old decomposing pine needles in those bags. I'll mix that in with the dirt as I put it in here. And then I'm not going to fill it all the way full. Then I'm going to take the dump trailer over there, and we're going to go get some really nice topsoil, and we'll put the final layer on top with some topsoil. The dirt I have out front it's good dirt mixed with a whole bunch of compost that we picked up last year. So we'll mix that up. We'll fill the bottom of this up with that and get it up to 3/4 of the way, and then we'll get some good topsoil and top it off with topsoil. I know it's going to settle quite a bit in here, so I'll have to overfill it, and we'll see what happens as it starts to settle. So anyway, thanks for kicking it with me today. The sun's starting to set, so I'm not going to be able to get the dirt and everything in here today, but with the magic of editing for you, it'll be right now. Okay, so I've gone just down to a local business down here with the dump trailer and picked up a whole bunch of what they label as garden soil. Looks to me like it's just really good dirt with, I'm sure, some sort of mulch and compost and different things in there. But for the garden boxes, we'll be taking this over there in this little trailer here, pulled by the four-wheeler, and put it in. We'll level it out first because there's still some of the dirt I put in last time. I wanted it to settle. It's been a few days since we did that. Gonna let it settle, and it's been settling for a few days. I'm sure it'll settle quite a bit more because we put a lot of that wood and grass and stuff underneath it. But that'll settle a little bit, but we want to start putting some of this garden soil on the top of it, and we'll level it out. We'll take it right to the top. We'll let it settle for a few more days. We're just getting the water turned on in the area for this spring, so we really can't plant too much right now, probably for another few weeks. They say not to really do much until Mother's Day on certain things. I'm not a gardenist. This is really one of the first times. We've had gardens before, me and my wife, but this will be one of the first times that we're really putting much effort into it, and with garden boxes and things. We have a lot of deer around in this area, and up until now, anything we've planted hasn't made it, and the deer have been very happy. But I finally think I've got the fences tall enough all the way around, including the gates, to keep the deer out. So we didn't have to go very far, obviously. Yard's not too big. We only live on about an acre. So we're ready with the dirt. You can see how the garden boxes are looking right now. It's not the greatest. There are a few rocks in here I would like to get out, but the small ones aren't going to matter that much. You can see in the corners, it's really settled in the corners there, just over the past few days. But I will level this out. I've got a bunch of pine needles right there that I'll spread on there, and then I'll put this garden soil on the top, and we'll fill it right up to the very top up here. And then we'll let it sit for a week or two before we get ready to start planting. Like I said at the beginning, I want to just get this right up to the top, and then it'll be a little easier to see how much it's settling off the edge. Okay. I think we're there. Let's get it here into the corners. Pretty good. Corners are filled. And I think we're up to the top. So we'll let it sit like this for a few days and see if how much it actually is settling. Okay. Perfect. I will do the same to the other two, and then we'll bring you back in. I can't hear you with these cars going by. Hey everybody, so it's another day working on the garden boxes. I have 4 set up over there, actually 3 fully set up and 1 more that is separate from the other 3, but we're getting ready to put the garden soil in there. As of right now, I did go ahead, I leveled it out, put in some wood at the bottom, some logs and some good dirt, and then some grass clippings. And now we're going to top it off with some garden soil. And then that'll pretty much wrap up this video in setting up the garden boxes, the trellises and whatnot. The next step will be to plant, and that'll be a whole separate video on planting. Again, I know nothing about it, just going through it just like you are, going through it, getting things set up. for the first time. So hopefully these garden boxes will last for years. We will have lots of fun growing things in there and lots of good stuff to eat. But as of right now, and again, it has been a few days since the last time we videoed. I wanted to let the dirt settle that we put in just previously here. For you, it's probably just a few seconds ago, but it's been probably 4 or 5 days, and it's rained quite a bit since then. So the dirt, I'll show it to you here in a minute. It was completely up to the top of the garden boxes, and now it looks like it's down about an inch from the top. So getting some more garden soil here. We'll fill up the 4th box, and we will top off the ones that have settled. So let's get to it. Take this and we'll just start filling up this garden box. I do have all this grass in here that's fresh cut last night. However, so it looks like it's filling up more than it is. This will smash down and just give us a little bit of biodegradable compost in the bottom of, or at least under this layer of garden mulch, garden soil that's going in here. So, time to start sharpening. Okay, so as you can see on these 3 garden boxes, I did get finished filling up that 3rd garden box. We'll let it settle for a while, but as you can see, there's about an inch or so all the way around these 3 garden boxes that we filled up a few days ago. It's settling, and that's what I wanted it to do. I've got the last load of dirt in the little trailer. I pretty much emptied out the big trailer with that 2-yard load that I had. So there's just this little bit left, just enough to top these off. And that should be pretty much it. Next video will be, at least along the lines of this garden stuff, will be planting. So that's the next step. That's where we'll continue on with the series of the garden, and we'll just go from there. Again, thank you for kicking it with me today, and appreciate you subscribing, clicking the like button. Again, this is a new channel and just trying to get some viewers and some followers on a lot of random things. There's really no specific thing except just kicking it with me on the projects that we're doing around the house and around the community. So anyway, thank you again. I'll get these topped off and we'll catch you on the next one.